minus 32 Celsius right now with the wind chill factor. Minus 24 just temperature wise. But that breeze is cold, so I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm going to dress a little bit warmer and see if I need to take some layers off while I'm hiking. But Merrow Polar and 8s, Mech Gators, Fjall Raven pants. What's different, I'm wearing actually 200 weight icebreaker long underwear. And instead of 2 thin layers this time, because it's so cold, I'm wearing 200 weight icebreaker base layer, 260 weight icebreaker base layer, both merino wool, and then this synthetic marmot jacket, which I usually wear when I'm snowshoeing, even if it's minus 20 to 30. This is usually more than enough. We'll see what it's like today. I might have to put a little bit more on. I have a Arc'teryx hard shell, a rain jacket that I can put over top to block more of the wind if I have to. And then I've got down vest and a down jacket to put on when I stop. Probably should have brought some warm pants to go over top of these. We'll see. It might be cold when I stop, but I can always get a fire going. Going for at least one night. Probably starting here. Sounds like there's less elevation change. A little easier here, follow the creek bed, so doubt I'll stop there. I'll probably stop up here around Ramona Lake and maybe just base camp. I don't know, we'll see what the snow conditions are like, see if I want to travel further than that. That looks full today. So here's the fork in the road. Left goes Maple Lake, Maggie Lake, so up the west side of the trail. And east side of the trail goes to Guskewau Lake or whatever it's called, and then Ramona Lake beyond. And then they loop 3 different length loops above that. Listen to those trees exploding in the cold. Footpath, foot traffic there. Got a sledge here. I don't know how far it goes, but in this case I am taking the road more traveled rather than less traveled, because the easier it is, the longer I can go, the easier the trail is, because it's packed down. So I don't know, maybe I can do the whole loop. Well, that's exactly what it looked like on the map, on the topographic map. That big ridge runs all the way along, or the trail runs, I guess, in the valley at the base of this ridge for about 8 kilometers, I think. And there's a Guskewau Creek down in the valley. I don't know if that's the cause of the valley, but certainly the stream runs the full length of it. Overheating, like I thought I was going to. Even though it's minus 32 and there's wind chill, you can't overdress when you're hiking or snowshoeing. It's just too strenuous and you sweat. My mistake today was wearing long johns. I never wear them. I always just wear pants. With the gaiters on my calves and regular underwear, I get hot enough, so I should not have worn them. I'm still tempted to take them off. I'll try this going down to 2 layers on my upper body first Took off the toque, of course, and I can take this on and off, but it's so cold that I'm more worried about frostbite on exposed skin, so I have to keep it covered at least with the thin material. Same on my neck and face. But so I'm down to 2 layers. We'll see if it's maybe a little bit too cool for these conditions. I'll see. I can always take the 200 weight off, put the 260 on. Put the 260 and the Mermit soft shell. Might be the right clothing for today, but I'll try this. Actually, it doesn't even feel too bad right now, so I think this is probably going to work. This is the trail from the north side. Trying to find the lake. It's the first moose tracks I've seen in the bush this winter. I am having problems with this, which I suspected I would. Can't get it in deep enough. I guess my pack's too tight down here, and anywhere where it's sticking out, it's starting to freeze, so I'll end up just using that to refill the 1 liter Nalgene and keep drinking out of that. Can't keep the hose thawed anyway. Looks like an otter's doing some traveling. This pond, I don't know where he's headed or where he came from. 2 of them actually. So this is where it gets more interesting. Nobody's been through here in a while. Same spot, different tree, but look at how many scratches are on those 2 trees. All the way up from a bear climbing up there. Clumps of branches that the bears reach out and pull in. So they'd sit up in the branch in the fork there and then grab branches and pull them in. And then eat the buds and the leaves and mostly that, and sometimes nuts. They'll pull them in and then eat them, and then just grab another branch, break it off, and pull it in. And then you move on to the next tree or the next branch, but there's all kinds of them through here. So I'm going to leave the trail here and head north. There's a portage between Ramona Lake and Dace Lake, so I'm going to go down there and see what that looks like. Looks like a creek, but there's beaver dams on it, so it's probably just shallow and marshy. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit of a ridge there on the other side that I can camp by and then find a little bit of open water that I can get down to without going through. And see if I can make a pretty good campsite of it. Let's find out. Alright, well, that's the valley down there that runs east-west, sort of east-west between I guess Maggie Lake far to the west, and then Ramona Lake here to the right, to the east, with Dace Lake and EU Lake and a couple of other lakes between. So I didn't expect it to be to steep valley. Okay, that's a very steep valley. Cold down in this valley. Wind is whistling down from the west. I'll see if I can find somewhere, but it might be too cold here. So when I started preparing this campsite, I wanted that log there to sleep up against for protection. I'm going to put a tarp above it. And then I thought this rock would block and maybe even deflect the heat from the fire. Then I realized when I started digging how deep the snow was here and how big that hole is. So I've got a bit of an issue here now with water. When that fire gets going, it's going to start melting in, so that's going to end up being a pit of water down there. So I'm going to lay a bunch of these hemlock boughs. This is a hemlock tree that's still green, so I'll cut all those boughs off, or a bunch of them, and lay them down in that pit so I can keep my feet dry. I'm going to carve a bench into that packed snow there, and then I'm going to lay my pad out and sleeping bag and sleep right against that. Tarp up on those sticks above it so I can sit in comfort. It's hot now. It's after 7 o'clock, so it's probably getting close to minus 30. At least minus 25 to 27. But this fire is nice. Got my setup right behind here, tarp and sleeping bag. But when I stopped working, stopped cutting wood, I put not quite all my layers, but another layer on, so I've got 2 layers on. 2 extra layers I put on. So base layer, 200 merino, 260 merino, marmot, synthetic, Eddie Bauer 800 fill, light though, down jacket, and Merrick Tarrant's hard shell rain jacket, and 2 hats, liner and plus a dicky that I pull down over my neck, so it's very warm. If I let the fire die, I'm sure I would need all of it, but let's see if I can thaw out the olive oil like that. It's an extra, I forget how many ounces I put in there. It's at least 300 calories extra there, so to keep me warm tonight. It's 500 calories in the chili. What did I put in there? 300 calories of pasta, I think. That's 800. If I get another 200 or 300 from the oil, yeah, I think I better put most of that in there. 1,000 calories to digest overnight. This should get me through most of the night. To rehydrate. Looks like the corn is taking a little bit more time to rehydrate than the beans. I'll give it a few more minutes and then I'm going to start eating it. So much water in there. I don't think I can fit all that in one go, so. But I need the calories, so I'm staying up until I finish it. So it might be up for a couple of hours. something I never do, especially when I'm solo camping. That's have a big bonfire, big campfire. But I think the situation warrants it. It's minus 20 something out here on my own. Shipload of food to finish before bed. And be up for another hour. So why not? Got tons of firewood. It's the thing about winter camping. You're not on a regular campsite, summer campsite, so there's always lots of standing wood around. Melting snow for water, for drinking and for cooking is very inefficient. It's about 10 to 1, maybe as high as 20 to 1, depending on the density of the snow and how wet it is. I do not like doing this. I really prefer to camp near a stream, and I should have done that last night. If you look around, snow gets quite contaminated in your immediate area for a variety of reasons. But just processing wood and bringing in branches and stuff, there's too much debris in the snow to use the snow around the campsite for melting. So you have to keep going out and getting fresh snow further out from the camp. And in a little pot, that's not very efficient either. Most people bring a bigger pot. I try to keep my gear weight down since it's all on my back. So what I did on this one, I brought this 10-liter collapsible bucket. I don't need the shovel necessarily, but I use the shovel to fill it up. So 10-liter bucket should boil down to, or melt down to, about a liter of water. The easternmost campsite of the 5 backpacking campsites. Backpack site number 2. That's a nice spot. Campsite number 3. Another nice spot, private. These are off a side trail off the main trail, so the only traffic you would get is people coming down to the campsites.